It's fight week for Misfits Boxing 5, and things are starting to shake up. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button for daily boxing content, and like this video as it helps me out a ton. Also, I want to know, which GOAT will you be watching this weekend? Pineda or Jon Jones? With that said, let's talk about Misfits. We've had some major last minute pullouts. NNA Productions was replaced with Ace Musa, and it'll be him going up against Walid Sharks instead. From all accounts, Ace Musa is actually a better opponent than NNA, and has shown better boxing skills. We've also known about the tag team match and how Austin Sprints and Strumedy pulled out. Recently, it was announced that Ice Poseidon and Anthony Vargas would be taking their place and going up against Pineda and B-Dave. I like that they've added Ice Poseidon to another Misfits boxing card after his fight with Brandon Buckingham. I think it's important to not only bring back rising stars like Deen the Great and King Kenny, but also give people that have lost their fights a chance to redeem themselves. We'll see if Ice and Anthony have what it takes to upset Los Pineda Coladas, but you best believe I'm hoping that Pineda and B-Dave get the win. I love Pineda's story, and I want him to have a bit of an undefeated streak if I'm honest. He deserves it for saving the first Misfits boxing event. As for B-Dave, he seems like a great personality, and in a few years' time, I'm sure he'll blow up and be a superstar. Among the bravado and giant egos, B-Dave is a nice bit of fresh air, and it's good to see him work alongside his previous opponent in Pineda. The face-to-face that the tag teams had was great, with Pineda just eyeing up Ice Poseidon. Pineda was on smoke, and I love seeing his confidence grow. Without a doubt, the Misfits tag team match is the most interesting fight on the card, and if nobody gets seriously hurt and everything runs kinda smoothly at least, then this could wind up being super entertaining. As we get closer and closer to fight night, I'm getting more and more gassed up about this matchup. It's crazy, it's certainly not traditional boxing, but it's not trying to be, and I appreciate Mams and KSI for taking a risk with the tag team match. As for the other fights on the card, Deen the Great and Pully Arif had a bit of a scuffle. Pully stood his ground and didn't let Deen bully him in the altercation. He made it absolutely clear that he wasn't going to just be a layup for Deen, and I hope his attitude will translate in the ring. He's had a couple of fights before this Misfits event under the smaller influencer boxing promotions, and if Pully has been training consistently since, then we could have a decent fight on our hands. Deen has become a great heel during his Misfits boxing career, and he plays the bad guy really well. He's wearing suits, he's cocky and brash, and it's good stuff. Pully is the ultimate underdog against the reigning champion. On the other hand, Walid Sharks and Ace Musa will let their hands do the talking. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that this matchup has fight of the night potential written all over it. This is yet another case of a fighter dropping out, and then Misfits making a better fight out of the situation with the replacement opponent. Walid is on a comeback journey after his rather controversial loss to Deen the Great. He'll be wanting to make a huge knockout statement to put himself back in title contention. However, Ace looks fast and slick, so don't sleep on this matchup. Aside from King Kenny showing off his improved skills and hopefully preparing for a Salt Papi fight, King Kenny vs Ashley Rak-Su is probably the fight I'm least excited for. We'll see how it pans out, but yeah, I'm not holding my breath. Ginty vs Halal Ham and Godson vs Tempo Arts are two fights that remind me of vintage YouTube boxing. A couple of YouTubers putting on gloves for the fuck of it, with no real storylines going in. No huge egos, just YouTubers having fun and scrapping. I predict that Ginty will win a decision over Halal Ham, and Godson will get the upset over Tempo Arts. Astrid Wet and AJ Bunker is definitely going to be a blowout, and I'm pretty sure that one of these women will get knocked out in the first round. This fight really is just a precursor to the mega fight between the winner of this matchup versus Elle Brooke, the current queen of Misfits boxing. Of course, the main event is Swingler vs Nichlmao, and I think this fight will surprise a lot of people. Nichlmao has this quiet confidence about him during all of the face-offs and interviews, and he might give Jay a good challenge. Jay knocked out Chudleys in round 1, but I'm not sure how much the latter was training and if he took the fight 100% seriously. Nichlmao is a fan of YouTube boxing, and was just a teenager when he watched KSI vs Joe Weller. He has been plugged into the scene for a while now and has an idea of how hard these YouTubers train, so I think that Nick will prepare accordingly. Nichlmao is taller than Jay and has a longer reach, so his strategy is most likely going to be keeping him at range and eventually outpointing him. Jay went up against Anis on Gib and had a full war back in 2018, so I'm sure that he can bring out the dog and make it scrappy for Nick if he's finding it difficult to get inside early on. I love the energy that Nick brings to YouTube boxing, and even if he loses the fight, he should definitely sign on to the Misfits promotion. They need to increase the stable of fighters and give them these major opportunities against big stars like Jay Swingler. This fight has me rather intrigued, and fuck, I'm gonna say it, I'm looking forward to the matchup. I have had a bit of a mixed reaction to Misfits 5 when it was announced, and I still retain some of the same criticisms like the King Kenny fight for instance, but the main event is no longer a concern of mine. Nick seems to be training hard, and if his spar against Jarvis was only a couple of months into his boxing journey, then I'm sure he would have improved a ton in that time. Jay Swingler vs Nichlmao will be a sleeper hit in my opinion, but let me know what you think down below.